Hi, I'm Andrew, Partnerships Manager at Web3 Harbour, and it is my honor and privilege to bring to you Web3 Harbour's Mix series. Mix is our member intelligence exchange and was created exactly for this moment, a platform where Web3 Harbour members, the actual architects building the ecosystem, step forward as faculty. Every month, we turn deep industry expertise into accessible, high-signal education for the entire APAC Web3 community. No hard pitches, but just real intelligence that moves the narrative forward. Today, for our very first mix, we are incredibly fortunate to have a true pioneer in real-world asset tokenization. We're pleased to welcome Ronald Tan, Managing Director of SilverTimes Global, the team behind one of the most promising tokenized silver products live on Ethereum today. Ronald and his team are not just talking about bringing traditional assets on-chain. They are doing it with transparency, regulatory foresight, and real liquidity in mind. For the next 30 to 40 minutes, Ronald will take us through the journey of tokenizing silver, the technical and market lessons learned, and what this means for the broader RWA sector in Asia and beyond. We're all set to go here, so let's join Ronald and his team at SilverTimes.
So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. This is Ronald from SilverTimes Global Inc. And thank you very much for Web3 Harbour for inviting me to participate in the Mix series. I really believe that's a great platform for Web3 Harbour members to exchange ideas, to exchange knowledge and understanding, and see how we can collab or work together to build Hong Kong into a better place for tokenizations or for crypto assets. So it's a great honor to be here, and today I have a great opportunities to share something about silver and our projects with all of you. To begin with, I do have a question for every one of you. You don't need to answer me, but maybe I just want to have you guys think about it. What is the most conductive metals on Earth that is actually sitting in your pockets right now? It's very obvious that silver is the answer, but you might not realize that silver is actually penetrating our daily life in different aspects, from your mobile phone to your PC to your car or to your energies that you're using. Is penetrating everything and is kind of inevitable metals that is penetrating our daily life. So it's not appear as a coin, as a jewelry, but as industrial materials that embed on the circuits on every cell phone or EVs or solar panels, and increasingly the AI servers that powering my PowerPoint and the modern world as well. So this is the story of how the same metals that used to be our dollars, our storage of values, and now being transformed into digital asset, and how the blockchain technology is actually giving a new life to it. And more importantly, how and what we're trying to do to facilitate the transformation of silver into a digital asset. So to begin with, let me have a simple introduction on myself. I believe the Master of Ceremony do have a very in-depth introductions on myself. So I started trading bullions, engaged in the bullion business in 2014. Not very long, but principally our team trade with industrial users. We deal with like physical silver transactions, not just merely like silver contract transactions like many other brokers. So we are very focused on physical settlement, physical transactions, and industrial clients. I'm also a member of the Web3 Harbours. I started my digital asset journey back in 2022 when NFTs and Metaverse is being very popular around the region. So our team and myself have a very strong belief that silver is one of the most undervalued or misunderstood commodity on Earth. And against this background, we believe that silver investment should be made easier for everybody. It should not be a privilege for high net worth individuals or institutional investors. It should be available for retail investors very easily, very accessible. And in 2025, we saw that the silver price has accumulated much momentum. and it attracts a lot of interest from the retail market. A lot of retail clients come to us and wonder whether they can purchase silver bars from us to storage of values, for investment, for speculating, for all sorts of reasons. But we realized that there are actually quite many barriers that is holding these retail investors back. And with my limited understanding of blockchain technology, we think that it might help to democratize the silver investment. That's why we started our SilverTimes project. To make everything more systematic, I will start with some simple explanations on the silver natures. Because today we're not trying to have a SilverTimes sales seminar. We're trying to be a little bit more intuitive, to share a little bit more about silver. So I will start with some science of silver, some industrial application use cases, and also how silver has changed in terms of from a currency into storage of values to digital, to industrial products, to digital asset today. And we will also share how like the tokenization revolutions that's changing how people participate in the silver market. And last but not least, we'll share a little bit on our visions, what we're trying to do and how we're doing it, how SilverTimes is going to launch a tokenized silver and how it's different from some of our other projects in the market right now. So to start with, I'm not trying to bombard you with periodic tables, chemistry 101, but I think it's very important to understand some of the natures of silver so that you understand why it is inevitable in some of the industrial use cases. So first of all, silver is one of the most conductive metals in terms of electrical conductivities. For the commonly used coppers or gold are by far behind of silver, so it has strong applications in electronic applications. On the other hand, the thermal conductivities of silver is also outstanding, beating all kinds of metals. So it is critical for some of the heat management in some of the advanced data center or advanced IT system. On the other hand, the optical reflectivity is also highest among all the metals. It enables silver applications in solar panels, in other optical applications as well. Silver is also biologically active. It has been used to disrupt some of the bacterial cell membranes, so it has been used in some of the antimicrobial applications. And silver is also very ductile materials that can be drawn into very thin wires or films that is thinner than human hairs for some of the precision electronics applications. And last but not least is a chemically inert material, which allowed it to be used in various industrial applications so that it is erosion and oxidation resistant. It has a long shelf life, allowing a lot of industrial opportunities. So in terms of industrial use case, we have electronics and AI, where it is used for writing on its conductivity, electrical conductivities. A lot of the circuit board, semiconductor packaging, and AI chip manufacturing is using silver. Getting back to the questions at the beginning, if you're using an iPhone, roughly there's like 0.35 gram of silver on every iPhone, on soldering parts, on different for electrical conductivities. So it's also one of the fastest growing silver demands as well. On the other hand, we also use a lot of silver in solar and photovoltaic applications. Every solar panels will need silver as the conductive paste on the silver cells, and actually the solar panels is actually expanding very quickly. On the other hand, EVs is also one of the rapidly expanding usage for silvers. In traditional vehicles, we are using very limited amount of silver, but in EVs, we are double and tripling the usage of silvers. We are using like 25 to 50 grams of silver on every vehicles. We're also using silver for antimicrobial services or disinfection applications in water purifications, in brazing, in catalysts as well. So basically, 59% of the silver demands do come from industrial applications. Investment demand from silver coins and silver bars account for like roughly 19%, and remaining it will be jewelry applications as well. So in 2025, there's like 657 million ounces of silver has been used in various industrial applications. So there are many applications that I've mentioned earlier, but solar panels is one of the very important applications in silver. It's actually consuming 186 million ounces of silvers. Recently, we are seeing geopolitical tension around the Middle East. We're also seeing that the oil and gas price is going up a lot. There's a huge need for alternative energy source, and even though solar panel installation is slowing down last year, but we are seeing that there's increasing demand that will be reflected very shortly to compensate the shortage of energies from the oil price, from the oil or from the natural gases. And actually, every gigawatt of solar panel installed will need roughly 20 tons of silver. So there's a huge need for silver in solar applications. On the other hand, EVs is also one of the rapidly growing demand as well. Also, against the geopolitical tension in the Middle East, a lot of the drivers is actually complaining about the oil price in Hong Kong. I believe a lot of the Asian countries sharing the similar situations as well, and it will drive EV adoptions, I believe. And actually, most of my team members is actually driving EVs right now because in Hong Kong, we are having the most expensive oil price globally around the world. Is the most expensive. So it's actually pushing people to change to electrical vehicles. And we're seeing that there will be a very steady but very good growth on EV demand on silver on a 3.4% per annum from 2025 to 2031. So we're seeing there's a increasing industrial demand. On the other hand, the electronics and AI is also can't get away from silver as well. Silver is actually the backbones of modern electronics. We're seeing that AI data center is using a lot, 5G expansion, mobile phone is using a lot as well. And we are also seeing increasing demands from some of the multi-layer ceramic capacitors that's used in circuit board as well. So on every electronic devices, there's a need for silvers. But more importantly, I think, is the supply and demand deficit globally. We're seeing that the silver market is having a structural deficit in terms of silvers. We're seeing there's a 380 million ounces of deficit in 2025, and it's actually the 6th consecutive years of this structural deficit. And the worst thing is that the silver supply from silver mine is actually slowing down, and it's estimated that there will be a 0.3% drop in silver mine supplied in 2026. So we believe that this supply-demand changes is structural, and it won't be changed very shortly because in order to have mine to increase their supply, it will take at least 18 to 24 months to have the mine production to pick up. Not to mention that silver mines are mostly byproduct mine. There's very limited primary silver mine, so the supply is less elastic than we thought, and it might contribute to a very bullish case for silver investment. So getting into how silver market has been involved, back in the days, 2 centuries ago, I think every part of the world is using silvers and gold as one of the major currency or major reserve asset. But in 1873, the crime of 1873 has ended the free coinage of silver, the rules in the state. And we're seeing that silver, even though silver is still part of the component in different coin, in dime, in the pennies, but we're seeing that silver is no longer a reserve asset. Gold is taking over the reserve asset role, and it has been the case since the 1944, the Britain's wood system establishment. And by 1965, a lot of the coins in the state do not have any silver content anymore. So we are seeing that silver is actually moving away from the monetary standard into an industrial commodities in the past 2 centuries. On the other hand, we are also seeing that the silver price do fluctuate quite a lot. Getting low, we start from $1 or $2 per ounces. To 1980s, the Hunt brothers tried to speculate or try to squeeze the market, which go all the way to $50. And then it gets back to a bullish, a bearish market for quite a while, not till in the millennials in 2003 start to picking up the commodity super cycle. And we're also seeing more investment tools where the biggest silver ETFs, the SLV, is launched in 2026, allowing more diverse investment tools or channels for silver investments. And we see that the super cycle continue to build up. The silver price spiked to $49 again in 2011. And not till recently, we see that the silver price is facing another de-dollarization demand and a short squeeze or physical squeeze. In 2025, we see it hit the auto high $49, and it go all the way high up to $121 in earlier this year, in January this year. And we're seeing that silver price do fluctuate a lot, and it's stabilized right now at $80. And we are also going to launch our silver tokens on Ethereum this year to provide a more to further democratize silver investment, a more accessible, a more efficient and affordable silver investment tools for retail investors specifically. So we just quickly go through how silver has changed from a monetary standard into industrial products. Into today, we're trying to move it into a digital asset. Traditionally, for a retail investor who is looking into investing in physical silver or silver contracts, they do encounter various limitations or barriers for them. The first to begin with is the high transaction costs. Let's say today you're trying to invest in silver. You want to get a silver coin or silver bars at one of the coin store or one of the jewelry store at the corner at a shopping mall. You're actually paying quite a high commission or intermediary fees to the sellers. Normally, a minimum of 5% commission is charged per transactions. So it's a huge transaction cost. When we're looking into investment, that 5% is actually eating up our margins. So it's not ideal for retail investors, but they may not have other channels to participate in silver market. On the other hand, if you're able to purchase a silver bars or silver coins, you still encounter a huge storage or insurance cost. Usually, the standard investment grade silver bars are 30 kilos or 1,000 ounces. So it's huge, it's heavy. Usually, we can't transfer it back home. You can't store it like at normal storage facilities. You will need to look for a secure vault to store your silvers, who is charging you like 0.5% to 1.5% annually, depends on the size that you're having, and it's actually quite costly in terms of holding costs. And in terms of logistics, it's quite complex as well. You have a lot of settlement arrangement, import duties, and you also need to arrange like secure logistic couriers to arrange shipping for you. And there's a very rigid trading hours and trading settlement speed is not fast for physical settlements. So there is also like limitations or constraint for retail investor who is looking for quick turnover, quick transactions. Of course, some of the investor may participate in futures or ETF transactions. However, ETF is not available in all markets. For example, there was an ETF, silver ETF in Hong Kong stock market before, but it was delisted earlier. So currently, I think there's a silver ETF in the state in USA. There's also a silver ETF in China and in India only. It's not geographically available for all jurisdictions for all retail investors, which prevents some of the investors to participate into it. And some of the investors might come into some of the bullion traders where they might encounter counterparty risk, where the bullion traders is the only is trading against the investors. They are providing the pricing and the custodies. It's depending on these intermediaries. So it is uncertain and it's risky sometimes to trade against them. And we did see some of the news articles, news cases across the borders where some of the intermediaries are actually trading against the clients and they're not able to honor their contracts and just run away. So investors actually taking this risk. And last but not least is the entrance cost is quite high if you're trying to trade at like some of the regulated channels, for example, COMEX or LBMA. The standard trading contracts start from 5,000 ounces, which is roughly 375K, which dollars. So it's quite huge for retail investor who is looking into maybe $100 bet on the silver price. So there is various constraints and barriers which prevent retail investor to participate into our silver investment. So what we're trying to do is try to tokenize it to get it listed on DEX or centralized exchange so that silver investor will be getting away from these barriers. We can provide like fractional ownership where each token is representing 1 troy ounce, where 1 troy ounce today is roughly like $75, which is a lot more affordable for retail investors, even if they're coming from developing countries. More than that, we can every token can split into even smaller unit where transaction can be as small as like $1 per transactions, allowing like retail investors to participate it without any hesitations, a lot easier, a lot more accessible. On the other hand, the trading hours is 24/7. Trading on blockchain network, it might not need any centralized exchange. You can trade on DEX where you can trade against any counterparties at any time, at anywhere. On the other hand, we also provide like full on-chain transparency, real-time proof of reserve as well. All the price is tracing London silver price. So basically, there's on-chain protocol to ensure that there won't be people trying to alter the price to put retail investor at a disadvantaged positions. There's no geographical limitations as well. There's like borderless access for eligible investor worldwide. So depending on the exchange that you're trading against, you can participate. Depending on your location, you can select your own exchange to participate in tokenized as silver transactions. And for storage and insurance costs, because we negotiate with the vaults together for all our investors, so it will not be individual discussions. We discuss with it for all our token holders, so it will be institutionally managed. The price will be a lot more affordable when it's split into every token holders. And the complex physical settlement will not be around unless you would like to redeem physical asset from us. If not, you can do instant digital transfer. Just P2P transfer is available. You can transfer at exchange as well. And not unless you would like to have a physical redemption, then you can come to us, come to our vault with all the paperwork done. Then you can withdraw the physical asset back to your home or designated locations you want. And you don't have any counterparty risk with intermediaries. You can have your self-custodian, store it at your own hardware or hot wallet, and at any time you can handle or deal with your asset directly. And you will also open up to a very liquid 24/7, very vibrant trading platform, trading market. So by tokenizing silver, we are actually providing the investor with a more accessible, more liquid investment tools where they're still having the same exposure to silver price, but at the same time, they are having all the benefits of blockchain technology. And indeed, the RWA market is emerging and growing very quickly. In 2025, it surpassed like $29 billion already. And we are expecting the RWA market to continue to grow in the next couple of years. So it will be one of the most natural and compelling categories for tokenizing commodities. So other than like reducing different barriers to make the silver investment more smoothly, more seamless, I think one of the more important element for tokenizing silver investment is we're able to turn like a negative yield silver investment into a positive yield silver investment. In the past, if you purchase a silver contract, you're actually paying custodian fees to whether your intermediaries or you're paying to your vault to taking care of your contracts. But today you're having self-custody. You don't need to pay anyone for custodying your asset. On the other hand, we're also talking to different like protocols. You can put it onto different lending protocols or liquidity protocols or DEX to generate different yield. Maybe it might not be a very high yield like private credit, but you will be able to generate yield similar to US lending rate, which will be a good enough investment, turning your originally negative 1 or 2% cost into 3% yield per annum. So that is actually changing the nature of silver investment from a negative yield to positive yield process. On the other hand, we're also seeing that there's a demand for de-dollarization, looking for a more stable alternative asset as the payment gateway. Using our tokens, you can pay everything with silvers, whether you want it or not, whether you believe in US dollar or not, you can use it as a payment tools as well. On the other hand, if you're putting the silver tokens into lending protocols, you can add on your own structure. Maybe you can trade against pair it with a tokenized index fund or making different kind of pairings like hedging funds to hedge your risk, but at the same time still gaining exposure to silver alongside with other tokenized asset or crypto assets. So we're evolving from a static or physical storage of values into a dynamic programmable financial instrument that can integrate into global digital economy. So we can see that tokenizing silver has a lot advantage when compared with traditional physical investment or contract investment into silver. So now we come into SilverTimes. SilverTimes is doing slightly more adventurous, where we're not just having silver, physical silver in our underlying assets. We're trying to put on a little bit more structure. We're still having like fractional ownership, allowing people to participate very easily. We're having our vault storage record published online. every month, and it will be showing like day-to-day inventory movement to ensure it's like full transparency and ensuring that it's secure stored in our custodian, which is a recognized multinational custodian company. And we are also allowing liquidity without any lockup. We are allowing like 24/7 tradings anytime, anywhere. And it's also borderless, not like some of the futures or ETF tradings. We don't have any brokerage limitations, allowing investors from anywhere in the world to participate as long as you have your cell phones and you have your own crypto wallet. And we are also issuing our token on Ethereum to ensure that it is we can easily onboard to various like lending or yield protocols to allow our clients to have diverse income mechanism or income designs for different risk appetite. And last but not least, we are also having a rebalancing because as I mentioned earlier, we're not just having physical silver as our collateral only. 50% of the fundings will be put into physical asset. Another 50% of the fundings will be put on silver futures contracts, silver forward contracts, where we will be trading at margins. The amount of margins that we are able to free up, we will be putting into cash equivalent investment. Basically, it will be money market fund investment so that we are able to generate some yield, some return, interest income to cover our day-to-day operations instead of having to ensure the projects will be sustainable in long term instead of having a fee models trying to build our investors. We're trying to looking for a different income stream from the market, trying to make money from the market to cover our storage costs, our marketing costs, to cover the bills as well. So this is how we design the projects. And at the moment, we have completed all our smart contract development. We are going to launch it in Q2 this year. We are also in discussion with some of the centralized exchange already. So hopefully in the next 2 months, we will be able to launch it on some of the tier 2 exchanges. And we are also exploring having some DeFi integrations with some of the lending protocols on Ethereum in Q3, and hopefully we will launch multi-chain integration by the end of this year, enable like different chain, different community to participate in our projects as well. So basically that's everything we got, and it's SilverTimes and it's time for silver investment. So this is we hope that after this simple webinar, you have a little bit more understanding about silver and how it is different by tokenizing silvers that unlock a lot more potential for silver investment. If you are interested in tokenizing silver, feel free to connect with us, follow our Twitter, follow our X, add me on Telegram. So thank you very much for having me, and let's stay connected. Thank you.
And that wraps up another session of Web3 Harbor's Mix series. A huge thank you to Ronald for leading the way today. It's one thing to have expertise, and it's another to share it so that the whole ecosystem can level up. This is the kind of ecosystem building that Web3 Harbor is all about. We hope you're walking away with a few more insights and ideas for your own journey. If you want to revisit any part of this conversation or explore our full resource library, head over to our official channels. We'll be back here next month, and for all of us at Web3 Harbor, stay curious, keep building, and we'll see you at the next Member Intelligence Exchange.